If you can manage to get only 3,000 Kenyan shillings at the end of the month, that is the equivalent of like $26 or $27 at the end of the month, okay? I'm going to show you step by step on what you can do in 2024. Don't complicate things, okay? It's known out there. You've been writing resolutions like year end, year in. You do nothing. You follow it maybe for a few months and then you drop it. Sometimes even a week, you don't do it. So I don't want to complicate anything. And by the way, this is not quite an outrageous amount of money. Most of the people can actually acquire this money at the end of the month. So I'm going to teach you step by step on what you can be able to do, all right? So that at least you can do something by the end of 2024, all right? And these are 3 ways on how you can actually approach that amount of money, invest it, grow it, and you progress to the next level. And I dare promise you, by the time you clock the end of 2024, God willing, you'll have yourself not only the money, but also a character on top of that. Just to wrap it up about, okay? And by the way, at the beginning of this year, for those who have been watching for quite a while, I made a challenge beginning of January, and I said, guys, this is a formula that you can use, very simple, that you can get 66,700 at the end of the year. People were shocked, and I told them, hey, guess what? If you do it by yourself, you're gonna lose the way. Guess what? I'm having myself a group where I said, let's form this WhatsApp group together, and where we can give ourselves the morale, the zeal for us to save. Right now, people are actually texting the same group because it's about few days. I dismantled the group. People asking me, hey, Joseph, we beat the challenge. What do we do now with the money? So where do we do? What do we do? By the way, stick around. Something good is coming in 2024. Now, let's get into the point. But don't forget, I'm sharing this information with you for free. There is only one thing for favor. After you telling me thank you on the comment section, make sure that you like this video and also subscribe. And how do you subscribe? There is a small button down below there. It is in black, a very small button. If you hit it, it disappears. Did I just show you a magic? Absolutely, I did. Let's get into the business. Now, fine. Now, here we are. We are 3 individuals, individual A, B, and C. Both of them have the capability to actually amass or get 3,000 at the end of the month, or $26. However, that amount is from your end, whichever the country that you're watching it. By the way, thank you for the Zambian people in West Africa, guys, for watching these videos. Okay, now these 3 individuals, I want them to approach this money in different perspective, because people are of different character. Individual A, obviously, here we are talking about 1 month, which is, or rather 1 year, which is made up of 12 months, and we are talking about saving 3,000 per month. Therefore, it makes it like 36,000 at the end of the year. But don't forget this thing. Nowadays, in 2023, henceforth, we don't save money. We invest it directly. In my country, Kenya, we have a way how you can actually save your money, or rather invest your money as low even 100 Kenyan shillings. That's like less than $1. You can actually invest that amount of money. See, likes of the money market fund. You can actually go online, open your money market fund account, and be feeding that beast each and every time you get that money. If maybe you're not employed per month, okay? So you can just be feeding that beast each and every time, okay? Now, this is the point. At the end of the year, you'll get yourself 36,000. But did I say don't save money, invest your money? Why are we investing? So that we can get an interest. Remember one thing, we want to place ourselves above the inflation, because inflation is like a bug, it's like an animal that eats away our money without us noticing. Okay? Now, we invest our money and we just attract for at least 12% by the end of the year. That will give you like 4K, 4,000 on top of the 36 that you have. Then you'll be having yourself a clean 40,000 at the end of the year. By the way, that's not a rocket science. That's a very simple mathematics. Now, here we are. So both of us, or all of us, the 3 of us has the 40,000. 40, 40, 40. Okay? Now, these people can approach this money in different areas. Okay? Maybe let's say this individual A, he doesn't or she doesn't want to hear things about investment. There's some people, if you tell them about shares, about the money market fund, about the index fund, the rates, it does not augur well with them. They don't resonate with it. They don't love that. They love normal and conventional businesses. Yeah, I know probably you're watching this video and you're like that. Yeah, I don't like those shares things. I don't want to invest my 40,000 in a year and get that amount of money. I prefer going out there, risking it and getting more money. There are people who view life that way. So that's why I say individual A is purely business oriented. There are 2 ways of approaching investing this amount of money in businesses. A, there are some people who do not have the whole patience of actually getting up to the end of the next year for them to get that 6,000. If they accumulate this amount of money, let's say in 5 months, they realize there is an opportunity where they can be able to invest. There are people who do like that. And by the way, I'm that kind of an individual. I don't have to wait like a whole entire stretch of period. If I can realize there is an opportunity that I can be able to do, I go get my money, I withdraw my money, I purchase that item, I resell that item at a profit, then I get my money back, obviously with a baby, or on top of that, a passive income on top of that, and therefore I progress. So by the time you guys you're waiting to acquire this 36,000, I've already saved more than this 36,000. And by the way, I realized those kind of individuals from my group. There are people whom we said we shall save according to the number of days. Somebody are going further stretch, they are saving. Once they reach a certain particular time, they withdraw their money, they go buy an opportunity where they see out there, they resell that thing at a profit, then they go back and cook that thing. There's somebody who told me, Joseph, I've saved over 100,000 at the end of this period. And by the way, some of them are telling me I did hit that target way like a month or two ago, and there we are. So we are different kind of people. So if you save your money, maybe let's say at the 5th month, and then you realize, wow, at the 5th month I have 15,000. Okay, fine. I realize in my area people are actually having less milk, so therefore I can be able to contract the farmers to actually sort of supply me with the milk, and can be able to sell this milk, and then I can be able to make some cash. Therefore it means I'll take back my 15,000 back to my savings or my investments account, plus what I've gotten as an interest. So by the time you guys you're talking of 12 months for 40,000, I'm talking about 12 months and 50,000. That's how you do it. There are people who love that thing. And the other category of approaching this business, there are people who would say, hey, guess what, I want to invest this money back until I've hit my 12th month. I get my 40,000. Once I get my 40,000, I may be able to take this 40,000 plus that what I've been having maybe aside, add it on top, I can be able to do something. Or let's say it will be the only money that I have, this 40,000. I can be able to take it, go buy something that I can be able to sell, or go start like a small business somewhere that I can be able to be getting a passive income as I progress to the next level. Or I just want to get that 40,000 and then maybe take it up and go maybe do what? Do start a Shylocking business. There's somebody who told me that that's their target. So there are different areas and ways of how you can be able to approach this 40,000 and be able to invest to the next level. That's category A of the individual. But the point is this, is to just save this 3,000 or invest this 3,000 at the end of the year and see what we can be able to do. Now, here there is an individual B and saying, guess what? This 3,000 of mine that I'm actually, saving at the end of the month does not really affect me. And I'm not looking forward into, sort of do amazing things. It's just a thing, that money that I want to put it out there. And they may decide, hey, this 40,000 of mine, instead of saving it in the form of a cash, I can actually channel it directly towards maybe, let's say, shares or stocks. It depends on how you call it. And the guy can decide to go ahead with 40,000 in Kenya. You got yourself like one of the prime shares or stocks in Kenya. So they decide, hey, guess what? I'm going to be buying these shares each and every month, like, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. And I've been telling you guys, if you come from Kenya, you have over 20 companies that you can buy. By the way, over 30 or close to 30 companies that you can be able to buy with 3,000 per transaction. So they decide, hey, my 40,000, I'll channel it toward the stocks. Why? Because they're viewing it from this end. They have two possibilities of earning. A, they have what we call the dividends. See, there's some companies that usually pay dividends 2 times per year. There are dividends that we call them the interim dividends, okay, meaning that they are paid after the 6th month, and then we have the end of the year dividend. So by the time you guys are celebrating your accumulation of 40,000, these guys has already eaten 2 times dividends. And again of that, if all things goes well, of which ought to go if you've done yourself a good research, then you stand to gain what we call the capital gain. There's something called capital gain. Capital gain in the sense that, say you bought that share at, say, 25 shillings, okay, and that share has actually increased to, say, 28 shillings. So there is an increment of 3 shillings on top of that. These 3 shillings, if you were to liquidate your shares, simply means selling your shares, then you have yourself a capital gain on top of that. Therefore, you can keep on plowing back and feed that beast, and you can give yourself a target. By the next general election, I'll have myself at this portfolio of investment. Or say I started with shares purely, then I can be able to diverse and go to the money market fund. Or maybe, let's say, at the beginning, you can decide, I'm saving 3,000 at the end of the month. I will decide on this. I will take 1,000, channel it towards a money market fund, and accumulate and feed that beast called money market fund continuously with 1,000. 2,000, I'm going to take it and channel towards the shares, and therefore I'm going to be buying shares continuously time to time, because this thing actually appreciates at different rate. On the money market fund right now in Kenya, we are talking about 12 to 13%. On the shares, they have a dividend yield of around 13, 14, 15%, depends on the company that you pick out there. And also you have to compare some other parameters. You can check my older videos on the YouTube. You get to see some of the factors that you have to consider when you're investing in shares of different companies. Okay, so that's an individual who views life in that perspective. Okay, now, and then we have the individual C, who is actually playing safer than, should I say, all of these. Okay, now this individual is an individual who views like, hey, instead of choosing this or that, how about I go with both? They can decide, hey, I'll be having myself 10,000 or 3,000 at the end of the month. I can take 2,000, channel it towards a what? Towards a business, and 1,000 I channel it towards an investment. They can pick and say, hey, guess what? 1,000 of mine should be channeled towards a money market fund where I'm getting an interest rate of say 12%. And the 2,000 that is on top of that of my 3,000, then I can be able to channel it towards accumulation, storing it so that I can be able to do what? To start a business, say in after 3, 4, 10, 6 months, depends on the target of the business that you want to start. So these guys goes into it in both ways. One way, they actually have what we call the investments, which has low returns and also low risks, because that's what the investments are. On the other hand, they have a business which has a high returns and also what? A high risk. So that guy has sort of a balanced life and all those kind of things. And perhaps I do love perceiving life in a way such that, hey, I do have a fit in multiple areas, and that is actually the best thing that you can ever do. So in this case scenario, this guy can decide to go ahead, go the business way. He can decide to go the business way, the common business way, and this guy can also decide to go the investment way. So you're having both of them, you're feeding those two bits concurrently at the same time. That's what it means. Therefore, there is a return from the business and there is a return from the investments. Say maybe something wrong went to the investment. Maybe let's say in terms of the interest rate went down, but the businesses did good. Or maybe let's say something went wrong with businesses. He didn't know, she didn't lose all the money because they have a soft landing on the investments. So if you have yourself a diversified portfolio of investment, that is the ultimate thing. Now, what's my parting shot? My parting shot is this: in anything that you do pertaining to money, always diversify. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. I bet you have ever heard of me talking about that thing in a million times, and I'm gonna keep on repeating it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you can be able to diversify and get multiple things that you can be able to do at the same time, that is the most amazing thing. Some of these guys whom you consider them wealth in your families or maybe in your countries or anything, those guys actually, they have a diversified portfolio of investment. Or the portfolio, it simply means like where areas have you invested? Like somebody has some investments here, some businesses there, shares there, money market fund there, index rates funds, and all those kind of things. So it is good to have an array of areas where you can actually invest, so that at least you never know. For example, 2020, when the COVID came and it was sort of a global pandemic or global challenge, some of the businesses were actually shaken up. So, and the guys, they realized, hey, guess what? I think it's a high time that we can get ourselves into different areas. Can you imagine this? Maybe you've been taken a loan and you wanted to start a bar or a restaurant, or let's say a beauty area where you're making or plating people hair or something of sort. And you remember that it came with discouragement of it. There was discouraging about the social, social life in terms of people being together and all those kind of things. Then it means you ought to close your doors and incapability of paying back your loan. But if you had diversified in terms of the investment, then it means that you ought to have made something, and at least, even if not as a profit as you anticipated, but at least not as sort of a zero income or something of sort. All right, I bet I'm making sense on that. Anyway, guys, guess what? If it's your first time watching me, I am Joseph. I'm a guy with a camera and good information about finance and businesses and what have you. So consider this place a home if you consider that as a cup of coffee. And again, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe down below. And by the way, I know you've been asking, hey, can I get a hold of you? Yeah, you can. My number is always on the description of this specific video. Pick it up, give me a call, shoot me an email. My email is actually out there. Or text me on WhatsApp. Let's get started. I offer those services at a personal level for just a cup of coffee's price. You can grab my booklets as well for only 280 Kenyan shillings. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.